Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to Market Recap. It is Wednesday, July 28th, and I am Dan Hodgman. I hope you guys have all had a spectacular day so far. Truthfully, trade hasn't been the best. Equities aren't getting too reactionary off of the Fed announcement, which, no surprise, rates are holding near zero. Nothing really unexpected happening there. I have not had time to look into the follow-up and what Jerome Powell has said, so I will have to get some more information on that, and I know John will touch on it tomorrow morning. But right now, the outcome is they're seeing the economy strengthen. It seems to continue to be strengthening, which is a good thing. The bigger question is things are going back to where we were a few months ago. Masks are now, CDC's changing. Masks are mandated for all federal employees in the United States. You're seeing that happen in a lot of states as well. New guidelines are coming out and recommendations for students, social distancing. So bigger question is this resurgence of the Delta variant going to hit us? That's going to be the big question from the trading world. Are we going to see a sell-off like we saw last year? Is this something that we're now more prepared for? Are we going to be able to overcome it? There's a lot of questions around that from that trading perspective, and those are things that we need to be paying attention to. What's the information coming out? How are people reacting to it? What's going on? Are there going to be shutdowns again? Are we going to close indoor dining as we get closer to the winter months? A lot of questions out there that we as investors and traders need to be thinking about. How's that stuff going to happen? You've also got earnings continue rolling in. We should have Facebook coming in here shortly. One of the biggest companies in the entire world. Now, looking at our markets here today, crude oil finally showing a little bit of acceptance up above that $72 mark, which is what we've been looking at here the last week or so. And we'll take a look at this, and you can see a visual change of the marketplace stepping higher a little bit. There's still a lot of room to the upside for areas of volume, and we may see continued resistance if this market continues higher. Remember yesterday afternoon I had mentioned American Airlines is currently telling their pilots to conserve fuel for the concerns of crude oil shortage. And we're starting to see that in the marketplace. Our other business is going to start doing that. There's a lot going on that we really want to be paying close attention to. You got S&P 500 pretty much inside day, utilizing overnight high to overnight low. Beautiful opportunities there, beautifully set up. NASDAQ, on the other hand, we caught a little pop in the overnight, or right off the open. Market ran right to prior day's overnight low. So we're looking back, not last night, but the prior day's overnight low. That's where NASDAQ kind of popped to. But from there, steady drop right down to settlement price. No surprise, Fed day. You should not expect these markets to get directional before that number or that information comes out. Right now, we're seeing NASDAQ up a little bit, S&P's down just slightly. Gold, though, on the other hand, worked its way back to settlement price here and floated that until the number came out. Once the number came out, you saw a strong emotional move. Went down, checked our lows, our regular trading hour lows, and from there, it's been a race. We have now extended higher, pushing above our overnight highs there, seeing quite the strengthening and strong move to the upside right now, trading 1807. And the same principle applies for the euro. Euro took its morning, working its way towards that settlement price. Remember, we opened up a little bit lower. We got almost to settlement price. Number came out quick. Hey, let's go check that low really quick. And same thing as gold, taken off to the upside. Whereas bonds and treasuries didn't really do a whole lot all day. Up and down a couple ticks. Number comes out, quick break in the bond or in the treasuries. And now we're off to the races here. Rallied right up to overnight highs and almost to yesterday's swing high. Haven't quite. Actually did. We made it right to yesterday's swing high, and now we're holding right at settlement price. Looking like not much of a change on that one here today. All right, so once again, news is relatively quiet. We're paying attention to Fed. We're going to get continued more information is going to come out on that one. You've got a ton of earnings coming in here right now. Facebook should be coming in. We've got, whoops, I got to refresh this thing all the time. Here we go. Facebook just came in, beats on earnings per share, beats on revenue. Pfizer did pretty well earlier this morning. I'm still waiting on PayPal to come in, but a lot of green on our board here today as it applies to earnings. So earnings week continues to keep rolling in. Tomorrow, it's that big dog. Amazon will be tomorrow. So let's go ahead and take a look at our charts here, see what we got going on here today. But before that, we'll say hello to everyone. Bill, Norman, Oliver, George, Ricardo, Ram, good to see you guys. As always, thank you for joining. Let's go ahead and start with crude oil. So here's really what I want to point out. If you notice, over the last few days, this market, we've pointed out multiple times. Our high was 72. Our low was 71.55. That's kind of been this range that we've watched this market really work through. Well, today, we took a little bit. We tried to get up above it. Once this market checked our low side or overnight low, once we came down and checked it out, it finally caught in the attention of the buyers, and this is starting to show a little bit of acceptance up above 72. Here's what I like to see. It held. It did not attract new buyers, did not attract new sellers. It continued to hold. Obviously, it's Wednesday, so it's going to be an interesting morning when you're waiting on that crude number to come out. But this market held up above 72, and finally, this afternoon, we got a little bit of a pop, and now we're showing, in my opinion, we're showing a decent little bit of acceptance here. Remember that crude oil number was a draw of 4.1 million barrels. Fundamentally, what's that telling us? They're taking supply out of the marketplace, should increase demand. As demand increases, price should move higher. That's the basic fundamentals. Not always going to work that way, but that's what we're seeing here today. We're starting to see a little bit of acceptance up above that $72 mark. $72 is going to be a key level for me. It's going to be a main one I'm paying attention to. Ricardo, this moving average here is my 20-day weighted moving average. I tend to look at 10s and 20s across all different types of moving averages. Those are really important to me. That's what I tend to be paying attention to for these markets. Next, let's go ahead and look at S&P 500. Like I said, the opportunity here was define your range using overnight highs and lows. Pretty simple. We look at our overnight low right down here at 43.84, and we look at our overnight high right up here, right around 44.04. And that's exactly where this market was trading around all day long. And oh, by the way, settlement price happens to be right in the middle of that. Settlement price is 43.94 half. 43.94 half. So that's all this market did. It held constant value right at the right at settlement price. Checked above, checked below, held steady, and we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off here coming this afternoon. Well, there's some concerns there. I'm not sure yet. I think I got to do a little more research into what Jerome Powell is saying here this afternoon. Like you said, I was not able to get much information on that. Next, let's look at the NASDAQ. Now, NASDAQ, we had that big sell-off yesterday, and since about lunchtime yesterday, it's been trending higher. Slowly but surely is working its way higher. Settlement price in this market yesterday was 14,947.75. 947.75. So we got our settlement price. Market opened up, checked settlement price, and we bounced. Came back down, we checked settlement price one more time, right on the number, and we got a little bit of a life. To me, trading these equity markets on a Fed day is a big no-no. It's not a safe time to be trading. First off, you're going to see lighter and thinner volume. Remember earlier this week, we were looking at them. Leading up to this number, volume's down pretty good. But right now, you get the S&P trading 1.1 million and the NASDAQ trading 567,000 contracts. But leading up to that, volume was way down. And that's something we want to be thinking about. If the volume's not there, they're waiting to see what the news is going to be. Yeah, we all have a pretty consistent common idea that they're not going to change rates. Economy's looking stronger. Still considering tapering assets. It's a simple... it's like the same script over and over again. We got to start to dig in there and find those subtle differences that they're looking at. So to me, today... this was not very, very tradable. Maybe the only thing I'm looking at is off the open. Do I get this market to retrace to settlement price? It did, which happens to be right where yesterday's value area. We came into yesterday's point of control as well. So that's what my first thing I'm looking at. The next thing here, I'm waiting to see if this market, once we get the pop, if it does rotate back down. Because remember, a Fed day. It's not looking to get too insanely directional. It's going to work its way around settlement price. Remember, that's where everyone's yesterday's P&Ls are based off of that are carrying positions. They're looking to keep it pretty much unchanged here today as well. So they want the bigger institutional people are going to try and keep the equity markets probably closer to that settlement price. They don't want a big swing. They want to wait for that Fed number to come out. Next, let's look at the gold. The gold was volatile here this afternoon. We finally got a nice little pop on it this afternoon. And remember the price we've looked at multiple times over the last week or so, 1807. We have talked about it countless times. We've looked at it. We checked it last night, and we've checked it here once again. Settlement price in this market was $17.9980. $17.9980 right here, which happens to be just a few cents above yesterday's point of control. Market opened up below. And here's what I'm loving. We've got multiple lows right down here about that. We'll call it 1793. You've got multiple swing lows now happening. Market came right down to it once again. And to me, great opportunity, great chance to see, can we get this market to close the gap to settlement price? Close the gap to settlement price. It moved right up to value or point of control and up to yesterday's value area low. Moved right through there too, which was pretty nice to see. But once again, quick break as we're leading into the Fed number. And here's the emotion. Here's why we don't want to be trading around that number. You've got to swing all the way down to 1790, all the way up to 1803.80. It's a big move within an hour in this market. You can get snapped out really quick. You can get eaten up. And that's the last thing you want to do. This is just emotion. We as traders want to wait for the reaction to the emotion, especially if you're going to be outright. If you're in hedge position, it's a whole different world. But if you're trading outrights, this is where you want to have a little bit of control. You want to wait for that market. Wait for things to slow down. Wait for it to approach areas that you're looking for continued opportunity. Here's what we could have seen. This market, once we got into about, I got to adjust this here. Once we got into about 2 o'clock, an hour after the number, we saw this market pull right back almost to settlement price and almost to yesterday's point of control, right down to, today's point of control, and right down to yesterday's point of control. This was where the opportunity was. Whether you're looking the long or the short side, you have opportunity both ways. And how are you going to manage that risk? Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm going short, I'm probably going to take a little bit more heat and risk in that trade than I really want to take. If I'm going long, I've got good opportunity. I'm not risking anything too crazy. I'm going to probably put my stop on the other side of settlement price from yesterday. So remember the $17.9980. It's probably where I'm going to start to look for my settlement price or my stop. Recognizing I got point of control from today down at 99.50. I'm probably going to go a little bit lower than that, giving myself just a little bit of a room for this market to pull right back and give me a chance to continue in that direction. That to me was a great trade opportunity post Fed number. All right, next, let's go ahead and look at the euro. Same principle applies here. Huge emotion off the number. Huge emotion off the number. Inflation continues to be a talk. Dollars are taking a hit. Euro, happy, likes it. Huge upside move. Here's what I like to see. I like to see once we got going, we came and checked yesterday's regular trading hour high. That to me was a great opportunity if you were able to take the long once we got a little bit of, once this market was able to slow down. That's where it's hard. It's hard to find that opportunity. Where am I going to get in on this trade? We've got settlement yesterday up here at 118.34. So to me, I'm not seeing a lot of opportunity to hop into a trade at settlement price. Truthfully, I'm going to be a little bit more hesitant to take the long side, because if I'm long, I'm taking a decent amount of heat in that trade. The short side is still a little bit tough because we've got yesterday's swing high, which is the weekly high so far. We've got an overnight high. It's pretty difficult to get in on this trade. This is something you had to be able to find a little bit earlier for an opportunity. All right, next let's look at the 10-year note, and we'll get the heck on out of here. Quiet day, like I said, rotated its way almost to settlement price. Settlement price is right up here at 134.15. 134.15 is our settlement price. So, as we opened up away from settlement price. We did not make much of a look to the downside. That's the trade I'm looking at off the open. But I'm not taking it because it's Fed day. Treasuries are a big deal. They react strongly to the information coming from the Fed. So I'm probably staying out of that one. I watched the number come out. I don't like what I see. And this was very difficult trade, in my opinion. I didn't see much of an opportunity here. Therefore, I don't have a whole lot to say on it. So, those are our markets here today. I hope you guys have all had a great day so far. We are more than halfway through the week. Tomorrow is Thursday. Earnings continue to roll in. We'll continue to get some more information from Powell here today. Make sure you read into that. Make sure you look into it. Don't just hear what other people are saying. Do your due diligence, kind of like we talked on Coach's Playbook here earlier this week, or I should say yesterday. Digging in, doing that homework, researching it, trying to understand what he's saying and what it means, not just because one source told you what it meant. It's always important to vet those sources. So, a couple things to take a look at here now. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Bitcoin. We're making money once again in Bitcoin. We got a nice day. $40,190 is where we're trading right now, but it popped up just above, almost to, 41,000. We fell just shy of that. Our Airbnb stock, we had a little bit of a green day here. 143.30. You got Tesla. Pretty happy, kind of floating that mid 600s mark lately. $646 a share. AMC, green day there as well, up to $38.90. And the meme stock, stock itself, GameStop, down a little bit here today. Bigger down day we've seen in a while, trading $169, but dipped all the way down to $165. This is still a very tradable day trading stock here. So if you are into day trading stocks, this market is providing good moves up and down, creating some opportunity there. So those are our stocks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the VIX. And no surprise, VIX was relatively quiet leading up to the number. We kind of broke down a little bit, but right now my computer's freezing on me. VIX is trading 18.24. Okay, looking ahead to tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Central Time, you got GDP and jobless claims. There's going to be big numbers. Be patient. Don't be in an outright position during those. And if you're a natural gas trader, the natural gas number tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Central Time. That's what we have on that tomorrow. Now, the big one that's coming out tomorrow after the close, Amazon will be reporting their earnings. So keep that one in mind. That's a big, major number. Not only do we have Amazon tomorrow, we got MasterCard, Nestle, Comcast, T-Mobile, Volkswagen, Anheuser-Busch. I mean, just a giant list of companies releasing their earnings tomorrow. So quite a bit tomorrow as well. And lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at this date in history, and we'll get the heck on out of here. I've only got one for us. And where did it go? There we go. A classic movie. John Belushi himself, on this date in 1978, the movie Animal House was released in theaters. Good movie, and I highly actually recommend looking at some of the documentaries about how it was filmed. I found it really intriguing. So that's what I got for us here today. Hope you guys all have a spectacular afternoon. John will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time with the market forecast. So until then, stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. I look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.